From TPN at technophilespodcast.com, I'm David Geisler, and this is the Technophiles Podcast.
The minimum you have to have is a bachelor degree in either engineering, biological sciences, physical sciences, or mathematics.
This Tuesday, V brings a story about NASA's recent job openings. After the break, Krista Lee talks about Facebook's new search feature. Let's get ready to talk about NASA's next class because this is the Technophiles 277th episode. Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's show. I'm here with the regular cast, Krista Lee Malone, Tony Stiglich, and V Lobs. Everyone, how are ya? Whoever talks first gets the prize.
Yes. I really gambled on that one. It could have been whoever talks first
Whoever
loses.
talks first
So
must leave.
you're gone.
Just like that butterfly the other day.
Oh, we got rid of David in the last episode, so now we're down to just the ladies. We
Yeah,
win!
ladies and
Ladies' night
Schrodinger.
now. Tony, we're gonna make our own show. And Schrodinger, he starts
don't need
hosting
you.
the
We
show,
have a
right?
cat.
He's like, for 5 years I've waited on this desk. Finally, my moment has come. He steps up to the mic. That's all he's got. That's all he's got.
That's
right,
all
guys,
he needs.
We are talking about some interesting things tonight. We are talking about V. You found a story about NASA.
Yeah, NASA is opening their astronaut recruitment again. Applications are being
Very
accepted.
exciting. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. There's a lot of NASA stuff going on right now. And Krista Lee, as we mentioned at the end of the episode on Saturday, it sounds like the open graph style of searching is coming back to Facebook.
Yes, it is. To
I'm excited
English
about
users, at least.
English. Interesting. Yeah, because there's like semantics and all that stuff.
Yes. Has been rolled out.
Very interesting. We'll talk about that after the break. For now, Krista Lee, you've had an okay week. Are you doing anything cool this weekend or anything?
That's V.
That's me.
You girls now are forever swapped. V.
Yeah, it's been...
It's the L-E-E and the V-E-E that really throws me. I'm so sorry.
That's all right, yeah.
It means you're of equal importance to me.
Aww.
That helps.
It's
It's
equal in
judicial.
some way. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, it's been good recovering from Halloween. I'm still finding feathers from my Ric Flair costume
Did it work out okay?
everywhere.
I saw the Facebook photos. It
Oh
looked
my
like it was a
God,
good time.
it was so fun, except for the part where I drank like Ric Flair.
Fair enough.
Oh, is that a sad thing? Didn't he actually have problems? Yeah.
I had a bad night.
Yikes.
Wow.
Yikes. Well, anyway, let's talk a little bit about NASA.
Yeah. Very smooth.
Speaking of segues,
Speaking of Space Mountain. Because
you gotta follow that one up.
Okay,
Yeah, I
Ric Flair
can't-
would traditionally say, hey, you want to take a ride on Space Mountain? It's
Wow.
the oldest ride with the longest line. Ladies.
That's a deep
Also
reference.
gross. Slightly sexist. Definitely gross.
I'm with you on
Ric
that
Flair.
one.
All right, fair enough.
But he wears boas. He wears
He
boas?
wears crazy intricate robes, and he's rich and wears Rolex watches. And
His character is rich?
Yes.
I mean, I guess he probably is too. But anyway, let's focus in.
let's talk about space, y'all.
Space Mountain.
Space.
Go.
So NASA is opening up their
Haptic feedback engine.
haptic feedback. Yes, they are opening job applications for the next class of their astronaut corps. Currently, right now, they have 47 active astronauts right now.
Yeah.
And they're looking for a new class of young scientists and pilots and
Right.
engineers and doctors of every sort every relevant sort they can find to be part of their next few projects they have going on right now. Trips to the International Space Station, the Boeing Starliner, the SpaceX Dragon,
Yep.
and the Orion.
Man, yep.
These are all projects.
I
that
did
are
a
coming up.
rockets class today with my kids, and
okay.
I was able to teach them about the Dragon rocket because I was telling them about in the 1960s, 70s, or whatever, when the rockets go up and they break apart, and they were like, "What happens? Does it just fall back down to the Earth?" And I was like, "Well, it used to. Now, because of a man named Elon Musk, they land themselves because of this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason." It was awesome.
Yeah,
It was awesome. It's cool when they were just like mouths open, like listening.
Yeah.
They're like, "But how? But how does it land?" Well, there's other rockets on the rocket. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, I like reading this article. I was looking up the Dragon. Was it the Dragon?
Well,
yeah.
Dragon is SpaceX rocket.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that looks so nice. It looks like a fancy little private jet, but small.
Cuts rocket costs by 75%. That is to say that 75%. Yeah, right. I think I said that correctly.
It looks like something out of a movie, like touch screens, and it's very simple and sleek, and you can change
the dragon.
I think it's a dragon.
Yeah, maybe. I don't want to derail this.
Well, whatever. You can change the temperature inside of it. Mm-hmm. It's like luxury, almost.
Cool.
In terms of space travel. But yeah, so to be a astronaut, they have like a few requirements. The minimum you have to have is a bachelor degree in either engineering, biological sciences, physical sciences, or mathematics.
Does that count chemistry?
Oh my gosh.
I think it might.
Tony, you gotta go for it.
They're looking.
Guys,
you gotta go for
future
it.
Astronaut.
Seriously.
That's like the minimum. And then you're more likely if you have more advanced degrees or more experience in it, like 3 years experience in working in the field or something like that. So,
The field of
right here.
space.
science and the previously stated subjects or space.
Starfield?
Star.
Sure.
Or if you're a pilot, if you're applying to be a pilot, you got to have at least 1,000 pilot in command hours of a jet aircraft.
You must.
You must.
Yeah.
Which is probably not hard if you're a dedicated pilot.
Because this is what's happening is we are really getting to this point now. It's a little bit like science fiction. We are getting to this point now where, it used to be we'd put one man in a can and shoot him up. He had to know everything. He had to be amazing. And those original 10, 12 guys and the original 30 guys, whatever it ended up being after the end of Apollo and all that stuff, through Gemini, Apollo, all of that, like that is just amazing what they did. And now we've had hundreds of people go up through the shuttle and stuff like that. As you said, there's 47 active astronauts right now. But we kind of are getting to that point, guys, where the teams are going to be big enough that people can have specialties.
Yes. Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. That's
already happening in the shuttles, of course. It has been happening in the shuttles, but I'm just saying even more so.
Yeah. Now that getting into space is so much easier and you don't run the risk of like things breaking apart because one thing is wrong.
You still have to be incredibly physically fit, but it's getting more and more realistic for quote unquote regular people to go up all the time.
Yeah.
All the time it is becoming more realistic.
And the reasons we're going up there are not just to say we went
see
to
if
space.
We live or not.
See if we survive in space.
Yeah,
see if the moon will like suck our like pods into the soil or anything, or just like be absolutely crazy. It's just to say we did. We're going up there now to be like, all right, so let's test to see this technology, see if it works, to see if we can get to Mars with it.
Well, it does feel like the end goal here is Mars with everything.
Absolutely, and this is going to be the class that is going to test that kind of technology, to experiment with that, to see what we need in order to go further than we have before.
I was listening to an interview with Chris Hadfield last night, in fact, as I was working, and it was him and Adam Savage and stuff, and they were talking, and one of the questions from the audience was like, would you go to Mars? Okay, that's it's almost an expected question, but he actually said he said the question isn't so much, the answer to that question isn't so much if I would or wouldn't. My return question is, in what? And the crowd kind of laughed because it's like, oh yeah, what do you go in? But the point he was making was that he actually believes that our current technology isn't going to be the technology that actually takes us there. We're working the math right now to see how possible that is with our current technology. But he genuinely believes that very soon we're going to be, obviously the way that he's seeing the technology ramp.
That was the whole idea behind the space race. I mean, look at everything that we got out of that, all the new technologies. I mean, that's part of the argument for, doing something like going to Mars is that's how you create all these new technologies.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that new technology is going to be even more and more realistic for non-superheroes to survive.
Yeah.
Superheroes, like I'm saying, astronauts are like superheroes because they used to be like so physically fit and so trained and just take like 8 Gs and all that kind of stuff.
That's one of the weird things is that on the requirements, at least on their press release, they don't have like physical requirements other than height. Like you have to fit within a certain range.
Got to fit in those seats.
That makes sense.
Yeah, for missions, for scientists and mission specialists. You have to be between 4'10" and 6'4", and pilots have to be 5'2" and 6'3".
Well, that's kind of a broad range, but that's fair.
Yeah.
4'10" to 6'4".
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably most people.
That's a big, that encompasses a lot of the population.
Yeah.
If you're less than 4'10", you're not.
I'm wondering why pilots have to be slightly larger. That's like Oh my gosh.
Reach the pedals.
The range is...
You might not
Dr.
actually
Jones!
be wrong.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't want to be like, hey, I'm going to attach a block to the pedal because, right.
There may be physical limitations on the controls.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is fair if that's
Which
right.
is fair. And when it comes to the other like physical requirements like V was mentioning, you can work out to get to that, but you're not going to get taller or shorter.
Precisely.
Right?
That's true.
So it's like, oh, you're smart and you're in the right range and you have the correct eyesight because I see they listed that. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're not very fit, other than that, I'm sure they have a gym.
Yeah.
And probably a personal trainer.
I mean, some of the guys in the International Space Station right now just kind of had dad bods, and they're okay.
And they, and probably being up there made it worse.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually really true. So maybe they want you to start out relatively fit, so you have room to go.
Do we know?
You guys are going off the rails here.
Do we know why the current 47 astronauts is not an appropriate number? Why do we need more?
I think when you start putting missions together which have large crews, so the original even the Gemini guys, it was like 12, because they knew that they were going up. What is it, like 18 times, or maybe Apollo was supposed to be 7. I think Apollo ended up being 17, maybe 16.
Like 15? How many missions?
How many missions? They rotate the astronauts through those missions.
17, but I don't remember.
I think there was 17, but even the Gemini guys, it was like, oh my gosh, I could be wrong. Maybe it was only 6 guys that they picked, but I thought it was like 12 original astronauts, because they need some. They need some redundancies in case someone gets sick or can't make it. So if we're just putting people in a can and throwing them up into outer space to see if they survive or not, and that takes 12 people, now imagine actual crews.
Yes.
Multiple missions.
Yeah.
It starts to make sense. It's not the same crew that goes up and down. There's many tiers of crew, not tiers, but the schedule. You go up once and there's many launches in between, but for the next time you go up, I think that's why there's
also a lot of projects.
I think that's where it multiplies.
Yeah.
There were 17, by the way.
17. All right.
For something like the International Space Station, also, if you put 1 or 2 people up there, those are generally long term, right?
Yes.
So now those are
comes and goes, but yeah,
those are 1 or 2 that are not available for realistically probably a couple of years, because even if they only spend,
they come back, they hang out for a while,
right? Even if they only
to
spend 6 months to a year up there, then you have recovery when you come back down, right? So then they're kind of out of commission now, or not out of commission, but they're out of the pool for other missions.
A lot of times they start working in mission control and stuff. Well, in between and things like that. Which is kind of cool.
Oh, that is really neat. That makes sense too.
Well, because your body has to recover from
a little
that.
bit, yeah. But if you've touched that dial and that switch personally, and then you're down in mission control and you got to talk to that person who has to touch that dial or switch again, that's really beneficial.
That is really good.
So a lot of times those astronauts end up working in mission control.
I would find that so frustrating, though.
I don't know, man. It's probably exciting. You're still part of it.
Yeah. I suppose.
And especially if you had another mission coming up and all that kind of stuff.
You should wear cool vests.
I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid, so I find the idea of mission control to be frustrating.
Oh.
Do you really connect with Gary Sinise in the movie Apollo 13?
Yep. She's really frustrated.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, I just think as a big advocate for expanding NASA's budget, I mean, I like that we're doing this. I would like to see more of it. I would like to see sort of more.
This seems great. I don't know. What do you mean more of it?
Well,
I don't mean to give you a hard time, but this seems
more
like
of a
really...
reason to more manned missions to Mars.
Yeah.
Space or
Well, what about this? What if they start stocking up these astronauts so that they have the appropriate assets to justify more missions? You know what I mean? If they have to if it takes.
That seems like a small hurdle.
I don't know.
To get people?
Yeah, it takes years. You got to train people up for a couple of years.
That's true.
Yeah.
But normally you'd get
more than a couple of years.
Budgets take several years too, I guess, is what I'm thinking.
That's true.
But
that's true.
Yeah. I mean, believe me, I'm all for expanding it. I was just curious as to.
I didn't even.
I'm also wondering if they're trying to shake the boat a little bit here or whatever. Where let's just throw the applications out there and see. Let's stir the pot a little and see what comes out of this. You know what I mean? They could probably find another 50 astronauts or whatever, but if they, they just they put these applications out there to see who's interested, they might find some real diamonds in the rough. Yeah. Maybe that's what they're looking for. They say it's 100, or what was the number they're looking for right now? How many applicants? Wasn't it like? Gosh,
I don't know.
I don't have it up in front of me. Well, anyway, whatever number it is, even if they only use 20% of that number, that's ultimately the only people that are really gonna be added to these 47 anyway. I don't know.
There's 20 openings.
20 openings?
Yeah.
Oh, this is nothing.
4,000 applications for 20 openings.
Oh boy, this just feels like a little upgrade. Maybe you're right, Tony.
Yeah, like I wish it were more. I mean,
I don't know why, but I thought they were like, it was like, we're going to take on 100 new astronauts.
Yeah.
I got the wrong impression.
Unfortunately, I don't know if the budget's there for that.
Probably.
So that's the kind of point you were making earlier, and you're absolutely right, Tony. The budget of training these astronauts has to be
if
there.
I may, it would only take a very small amount from each taxpayer to make a significant dent in the NASA budget. Look up Neil deGrasse Tyson's talks. He talks about it quite a bit. But yes, yeah, I mean that would be
cool. Did they say what the end goal is here, V?
Just basically creating a new stock of astronauts to work with and collaborate with in their next set of projects, which they've got a lot coming up. It's actually really interesting.
They do. When the shuttle program stopped a few years ago, people kind of thought like NASA was gearing down, but they weren't at all. They were just shifting lanes. I learned earlier that back in 2004, they knew that they were going to stop the shuttle program by 2010 or 2011 or something like that. That wasn't like an accident.
Yeah.
Basically, they said, and this is true, I'll full disclosure, I heard this from the same interview with Chris Hadfield last night, which is kind of a coincidence that this is the story tonight. Mm-hmm. But he said that they basically said, we're going to use the shuttles to finish the space station, and then we're good. Then we'll move on to the next thing. So even in 2004, they said, okay, let's shoot for 2010. I guess it ended up being 2011, but let's shoot for 2010. Get the ISS to its first big completed phase. Yeah. We can still get creative and throw more things on that thing, let's face it. Mm-hmm. But the big plan that was originally, every country making one thing and all that stuff, let's finish that and then we'll move on to the next thing. And that's exactly what has happened. And they are moving on to the next thing. They're ramping up for the next thing right now. So taking on more astronauts, of course, makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's go to break. Mm-hmm. Come on back and talk about Facebook search. Yeah, Crystaline?
I can't believe we're going for something so serious. NASA, now we're going to Facebook. But yes.
Hey, think about the amount of people that it affects on a daily basis.
Hey,
this
and
is
you know
very true.
Social media is always used on the International Space Station. No, they're constantly interacting with it that way.
I am not dissing social media. That's not actually what I meant. It just seems like an interesting combination for one show.
Of course.
Astronauts and Facebook.
Well, we had a light NASA topic, and now we'll do a heavy Facebook topic, and hopefully that'll balance out.
Sounds about right.
All right, cool. See you guys on the other side of the break. Hey everybody, David Geisler here, co-host of Branching Dialogue. I am with my co-host, Mr. Tony Rome. Tony, why don't you tell people a little bit about this show we're doing?
So it's called Branching Dialogue. Comes out every Thursday, and we like to talk about video games, topics in video games, a little bit about our favorite video games.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a reminiscent factor. I kind of like it. Sometimes we look back, and people can find it on Facebook and iTunes and YouTube by searching Branching Dialogue.
We're also on Twitter @Branch Dialogue.
Fantastic. There it is. Tony, I'll see you on Thursday.
I'm there.
All right, we are back from the break. Crystaline Malone, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
So, what was your college experience like?
Tell us intimate details.
Hold on.
Like intimate, not like, I don't mean intimate, but I mean intimate.
The most intimate thing I could tell you right now.
That's a good reference.
Which is already all over Facebook, of course, is I submitted my dissertation draft to my full committee.
You don't have to caress the microphone. There you go.
Well, I kept hitting it. I mean... Shut up.
It is a bonus.
This is a big deal.
Guys, come on.
I don't know what's happening today.
Oh my God.
The sad thing is it's all my fault.
Crystaline.
Yeah, you're not usually
the dissertation.
The instigator? Yes, this is a big deal. Okay, I submitted on Monday my dissertation to the full committee. I have 4 weeks that I defend, and then you will all be referring to me as Dr.
Was it inside
Crystaline.
or outside their office?
Woo!
Don't want to know. Please don't say.
Via email.
There it is.
Oh, okay, whatever. That's so less exciting.
In PDF format.
Yeah.
PDF. Interactive PDF or just flattened?
Flattened.
Oh,
You really messed it up.
you really got to go with the vector on that
You really
one,
messed
you
it
know.
up. I just take it all back.
Don't
all
rest.
10 years of school.
You
Don't
guys.
rasterize it.
You guys are dorks.
But there's pictures. I have 42 pictures in my dissertation.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So, Crystal Lee, in all seriousness, though, we are talking about Facebook search, and it sounds like it's coming back. So, like, if you want to stalk someone, or let's say you have, like, a relationship. Let's say you have, like, I don't know, like a teacher's assistant, and you aren't friends with them on Facebook. You could use this Facebook search,
Can
right?
I search for these 42 pictures based on this?
We got to pull it together here, Crystal Lee. We're rolling.
For posterity.
Help me pull together.
So, Crystal, tell us about this article.
So, a Facebook search is coming
Yeah,
back.
so
It sounds like
as you
liked
may
it.
remember, we talked about this briefly once before. Because David and I had both gotten the beta version.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I think I only got mine on my mobile phone. I think you had yours on your computer. But we were both really disappointed, remember?
When it-
because
when
it was
it left
so
or
when it
whatever.
left, right? Because we loved
Tony, I think you were there for this
Facebook
conversation.
search.
No, I was.
Oh, okay.
It
You were
was
making faces like you weren't.
Sorry, yes.
absolutely phenomenal. I'm so happy that it's back. And I'm sure everyone has had this experience, right? You're talking to someone and you're like, yeah, remember that post? I just posted it a week ago.
Sure.
You have to scroll so far just to get back
Forever.
1 week, right?
Yes.
And
Hashtag first world problems.
that's true. That's true. I understand that.
No,
but now
no, it's very annoying.
No, it's.
Yeah.
I never
now
thought
UI
about that.
problem.
search.
That you have to go back to posts and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I do all the time. Like
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
follow a lot. I mean, I have like friends, family, and everything else, but I also follow a few academic people, and sometimes they'll post like job openings and stuff.
Hmm.
Well, since I have, sometimes it's all my fault, but sometimes it's like, oh, I should really bookmark this or whatever, save it for later, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't, and then I get home, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, there's that job posting. I really want to, look for it, and then I'm
work with it.
scrolling back or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, or
It may even with their way of like going by year month, it still makes it
Yeah.
so difficult
Yeah, you
because
can
you
kinda
might
type
have
it that way.
you might
So
have
what- I think
picked the wrong month or something, and
So what you're trying to say is it sounds like this search can help you find those posts, Crystal.
yes. Now, obviously, that's not the only thing Facebook is after, because that would be
Yeah.
kind of worthless considering we all use Facebook despite this. I was going to say hesitation, but that's not the word I'm looking for.
I don't know if a lot of people have hesitation.
Frustration.
Perhaps. I don't have a big problem with Facebook. I don't really.
just
A lot of people hate it and whatever. I'm in the middle somewhere. I don't really. I think it's like a fact of life kind of thing.
No,
for me.
I meant like this one particular facet of Facebook that can be very frustrating.
Sure.
Right?
Of looking for old posts.
Right. But so Facebook is actually so let me find the exact levels.
So I used to use the Facebook search to look for like people and places and things like that, but apparently you can.
And it used to be that was the only thing that would come up, right?
Yeah.
But now, so I'll give you an example. I was looking for I went back and I was listening and transcribing our Memex episode,
Yes.
right? So then I tested it.
This is not a usual thing for you.
Crystal Lee does this with all of our episodes
You know,
for her own personal record.
Let's be clear. Crystal Lee does not go back and just incessantly type out everything we say.
No, this was,
Right.
so this was for a school project. Memex came up and I was like, hey, we did a Memex episode for Technophiles. And then the other person was, I would love to see a transcription of that.
Yeah.
Not realizing how horrible transcription work
You
is.
said no problem.
I said no problem.
It's the worst.
It is the worst. It really is the worst. But so along with that project, and then after I saw this article.
Crystal Lee, did you actually pull it off? Did you actually transcribe one of our episodes?
I did.
Wow.
I would kind of love to see that.
Wow.
But only the one half.
I know, I kinda wanna see it,
I
too.
stopped after. I can,
Oh, sure.
I can show
It'd be
you.
kind of fun to look at. Wouldn't it be really kind of surreal, actually,
Yeah,
to assess yourself that way?
I only know
No.
us this way.
I'd be way too self-conscious.
Right,
I don't
exactly.
Need to see me in
It's-
writing. I like the impermanence of what I say.
And
perhaps.
actually, I noticed
Some
right now
semi-permanent.
Yeah, I
in this
get it.
episode, I've caught myself occasionally hesitating a little bit because I've noticed a couple verbal tics. that came up.
So I edit these episodes, and I actually consume every episode probably 3 or 4 times after everything is said and done, and I often pick up like verbal tics that people have, or even crutches that people use. Certainly things that I use, and also you get really self-conscious about that.
But we're actually way down a tangent. So I was doing that, and so I typed memics into Facebook search.
Yeah.
And instead of getting somebody with like that name, nobody's probably has that name, but instead of getting the type of things you normally get, like a page or whatnot, I actually got a list of articles about memics.
Okay.
So one of the things that came, our
when
thing
you say
came
articles,
up,
were these posts?
That people posted on Facebook?
Both.
Okay.
So
they weren't. Were they? I guess what I'm asking
Tony's
is,
asking,
were they outside articles?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Or were they within Facebook?
Both.
Weird.
Okay.
Yes.
It's like an actual search engine now.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes, but if it's so you're only searching. Okay, no. Maybe I misunderstood your question. I just realized. So it's all going to be within Facebook, but it might be like if IFL Science, right?
Sure.
If IFL Science's Facebook page has
Shares
a thing,
it.
then it would come up in my search that's in Facebook.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And they do actually.
Wow.
So it's still staying inside Facebook's.
Right. And I was trying to
database.
find exactly what the hierarchy is, but they have a hierarchy set up where it's going to be like people in your network first, or no, I think it's credible news sources first, people in your network, and then public,
cool.
and then
Coffee shops, and then movie at home.
Yeah.
In the search engine, that's the layer.
Right. That is.
No, it's a good way to. I think that's a good way to organize it.
Yeah.
That's
No, it does make sense. It does make sense.
Right. So I'm pretty sure they said they started with here it is.
A lot of dead air.
Sorry, I just saw it. So
We started out like brrr, and then just,
I almost want to like go back in and put crickets in that little spot there.
So they mentioned
We'll have
like
Shreddy
it might
articles.
start with like a post by CNN, and then
Or
it
the
might go
tumbleweed.
down to your tumbleweed.
Yeah.
right there, the silence. We're still there.
Tumbleweed goes by.
Yeah, well, I
Sorry.
found one of
Sorry,
those
go
verbal
ahead.
tics from transcribing in my brain. I was like, I gotta stop that.
So I say indeed a lot. When people are done with a thought and I'm thinking about what to say next, I go like, indeed, yes. Or it's true. And I tell you what, on the Thomas Malaby episode, I said indeed and it's true probably 50 times each. It was really embarrassing.
You know what's the worst? I realized that I say like
Yeah.
all the time, like I'm some kind of valley girl. And
So
just
I
did
used
it
to
in
say
that
like,
sentence.
and then a couple seasons of the show kind of worked it out. I mean,
I need to.
I will not say my tics because then the listeners will point them out to me or notice them. I don't know what they are anyway.
I'm far too aware of my own tics,
So
and I still do them.
sorry. Yeah. So to bring this back,
sure.
selfishly, this is going to really help in researching our topics.
Yes,
I
it's true.
know,
I know.
Yeah,
I
like
know.
that. I'm like, oh, great, yes. Like, I mean, I tend to go to a few different sort of conglomerate.
Aggregate? Maybe?
Aggregate.
That's
Yeah.
thank you. Sites, and then branch out from there. But this sounds great. I can just go to Facebook and
Feels kind of weird, but
Yeah.
I guess it's okay. And of course, they get to get all the data from those searches, and that's okay,
yeah, absolutely.
I guess.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I get the vast majority of my articles for this show from Facebook.
Interesting.
Oh wow,
I got to start
Yeah.
doing that.
I don't know if I've ever gotten one. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're not from Facebook directly, right? But I follow
Right,
the
right,
science
right.
pages.
Right.
And a lot of times, the actual article I bring in isn't directly from Facebook, but it's like I get the idea from Facebook, and then I'm like, click for more, right? So then I
Sure.
click over to the other site. But most of them, it starts with Facebook, and then I click over to find whatever thing.
Interesting.
Or for Twitter too. But I purposely go through and follow like scientists and tech people or whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I get that.
Twitter's a little less
information.
curated. Like you got to go to
Yes,
the
it
page
is.
of the
That's
thing or
true.
something.
Lists are very helpful for that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've got a few. You guys are all on a Technophiles cast list.
There you go.
People can subscribe to it if they want. If they go to Technophiles Pod,
Very nice.
Twitter, it's technophileспod.com, whatever it is. But our
Check it
Twitter
out.
handle is Technophiles Pod, and one of our lists is an aggregate of all of our tweets, which is kind of fun.
So interestingly, this article, which I got from TechCrunch, although that did start on Facebook that I found this. the first sentence, I'm going to pull this out because I find it socially significant. Facebook is ready to challenge Google and Twitter for control of real-time news search and the news itself. Now, days ago, I don't remember exactly how much, I saw a Pew Internet poll on Twitter showing how the demographics of people and the percentages who get their news from Facebook.
Okay.
And already you're seeing more and more people that actually do get vast majority of their news from Facebook. Now, in the younger demographics, the percentage is higher.
That's terrifying. Go ahead.
It is a little terrifying. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying it's a thing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yes. Yeah.
It was still under 50%, even for, I think the youngest age range was like 15 to 20 or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was still less than, actually I think it might have been less than 30. I think it was at 28, 29%. So it's not a big thing.
That'll probably grow though.
But it probably will, and this will probably help it.
Yeah, it'll spike it, I imagine. Or you know, it'll go quite a bit. It'll ramp it up.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking, because let's say something does hit the news that you hear wherever, you don't have to go to CNN's site anymore. You don't have to go to whatever other site it is that you follow.
So as they're putting it on their page, it shows up.
Go to Facebook to search it.
Yeah. You can read the headline and then comment on it like you read the entire article.
Yeah.
Exactly, like people do.
Yeah. No, this is I mean, I'm not sure I'll ever want to quote unquote get my news from Facebook necessarily.
Well, I think the idea is you get your news from your friends through Facebook in the that's like how the organic Facebook way works.
That's sure. But searching for a specific topic on Facebook, I'm all about that.
Yes,
that's interesting.
I mean, it's again, I'll use the example of this show. Like, I can go to different, tech aggregators and sort of search for the same things, or maybe follow links within articles.
Right.
But if I can just search them and have them all right there, I mean, and that applies to any topic, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
And so, interestingly, along with that, it's not based on popularity, right? They start with trusted news sites.
Interesting.
So,
Tony, that might...
How do you become a trusted news site?
Oh.
No, that is a very interesting question that has not been addressed. I don't know the answer to.
These are the marketing things I worry about. Yeah. I would be curious to see what that...
Well, Tony, a lot of times you kind of come in with these ideas of, and I agree with them oftentimes, of like, fine, if this data is getting out there, how do we know the validity of the data? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, I feel like the idea that they're prioritizing trusted sites, initially that idea I think you'd be excited about, but then
for sure,
clearly you jump to the next step, as you should, which of like, well, then how do we know, how is someone a trusted site or not?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, now is it just a commercial for these sites?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
maybe that's not what you're thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, no, it is. Yeah. Very selfishly, I'm wondering how, as a Technophiles network,
how do we become a trusted site?
How do we make sure our posts...
Is it something that happens in in the algorithms of our site, or do we need to like register?
Right.
Yeah.
These are things I worry about.
Is it popularity, or is it the amount of people that engage with that site? Is it
even based on the amount of
engagement? There's a zillion factors.
Right. I mean, think about it. I hope this isn't too political, but is Fox News considered a trusted site? Because I would, have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. If they try telling me it was.
If there's enough people that think that it's valuable information, I think when the percentages when they get to a certain point, then it must be a quote unquote trusted site. I mean, any source kind of works that way. You know what I mean?
And
right?
that's kind of what I'm
but how many people buy the National Enquirer?
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about like the Onion and stuff too. I know.
God, perfect. Yeah, and that's not even trying to be serious news, but people sometimes, fall for it.
Literally unbelievable.
But here's another one, Tony, I love, because, all these things that you think about. So this is not just about news, right? So I can put in a keyword, like maybe let's say, I want to see all the posts about dissertations, since that's on my brain lately, right? I can search and then find just private posts about dissertations. This is not just news, right?
Right.
So
right. I was going to say, this isn't called Facebook news search.
No, it is not. If you go like all the way to the bottom of that TechCrunch article, and they talk about the no more privacy by obscurity, right? So now when you say something stupid, I can search it.
Right.
Yes. And not even the issue they bring up is that posts you may have made back in 2007, 8, where
it was still searchable,
where privacy wasn't really a thing that was you could tinker with yet. You may have, I may have said some really dumb, stupid stuff because I was a dumb, stupid kid.
As we all
or
are.
No, when you find these things, they are dated. So,
yes.
Like someone knows V, they know that she was a dumb, stupid
but
kid. But
I've seen loads of like people in pro wrestling who people have dug up stuff in their social media from years ago. It's like, oh wow, you were making fun, you were like being horribly racist. Oh, you have Nazi memorabilia in your house 3 years ago.
Yeah,
that happened with Trevor Noah before he took over the Daily Show.
Bring that up.
Yeah.
And
and that was his Twitter feed though, wasn't it?
Right. It was Twitter. Yes.
Yeah, and so that's a way that employers who may not even be friends with you on Facebook can search your name and just like a certain term and find posts from whenever that you made about that.
That's interesting. Okay, so even if my profile is not set to public, can I search all of my specific posts?
So
by typing in my name.
Can you search your stuff?
Basically, is my name a keyword?
Are you inside
that
circle of security?
Correct.
Right.
I believe you are because you own the account.
I would assume so.
The search comes in with everything that you are allowed to see.
Yes, your privacy.
Okay.
So you're allowed to see your own things.
The search is within the rules of what you could see anyway.
I guess I didn't mean
the employer thing would be the stuff you forget to
you're
tag.
private. Now, let's say you're set private and I can't see any of your stuff even when I go to your page. If I'm searching for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and you have a post saying the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles remake was terrible, blah, 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 I'm not going to see that because it's still in your private circle. But if you searched that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you'll see it.
Correct.
Right. Okay. So I think there's, if you're specific about your security settings, hopefully less of a chance.
Right. You've really locked it all down. Though I know there might be a few posts from like very early Facebook that I just haven't gotten through to like just being like, that's all just friends now.
Yeah.
That I may have forgotten that just didn't make the cut.
I think this search is clearly happening within the it's just a search inside what you already have. This is not like the doors have not been blown open here and all the data or anything.
Yeah, no. I think it's just
more thorough and specific.
Right, and I think you just have to be a little more careful, which people should be anyways, because so there's, and I'm guilty of this as well. Like sometimes I will say things on my blog, not even that I say anything that majorly bad or anything, but I tend to often think about it as, well, this is a little corner of the internet, nobody's looking at it anyways. And so
but there's no such thing. Like everything's searchable.
Yeah. Well, I know, but it's the obscurity issue, right? Like I am not Neil deGrasse Tyson, therefore I do not feel like I need to worry about what I put on my personal blog, which is mostly me talking about grad school articles. Okay. Really, how many people are gonna read that?
All right. Yeah, then you're probably all right.
Neil deGrasse Tyson does. No,
so the idea of obscurity, I could see somebody going on Facebook and be like, I don't have to worry about my privacy settings because I'm nobody. It's not going to come up. They make everything public, but now all of a sudden it randomly comes up in a search.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. So that's what I meant by... I think you just do need to be a little more careful.
It's the things you don't think
there aren't any new rules here. There aren't any new rules.
Right. There's no new rules.
We should point out.
Yeah.
Just,
cool. Well, it's neat. I think we should start kind of using it just for the fun of it. I'm going to start using it to look for stories.
God,
absolutely. See what happens. Just as essentially as an aggregator, really, right?
Yeah.
See what happens. I think we should get out of here for now. Okay. This is very interesting. Krista Lee, I almost went over there. Krista Lee, if people want to tweet you and talk to you a little bit about Facebook searches or your blog that nobody apparently pays attention to, according to you, if they'd like to find your blog, where can they tweet you?
They can tweet me at GamerAnthro. They can find the blog at crystaleemalone.blogspot.com.
Wonderful. Tony Stiglich, how about you? Where can people find you on the old interwebs?
Please never find my old blogs. I'm on Twitter at Tony_Stig.
Fantastic. V, how you feeling over there?
Only look at my fashion blog.
Do you have a fashion blog?
Yeah.
Seems great.
It's streetfashionlucha.tumblr.com.
I can only imagine.
It's where I put all my like aesthetic. These are things that I wish I owned, but these shoes cost
so it's almost
$5,000. So
you're just kind of channeling a Pinterest page, but just through
pretty much.
Tumblr.
Tumblr is more fun.
But because you said only look at, I'm wondering what your other blogs are.
Only look at that one. We speak not of it, but if we want to harass you and ask you about where they are, we can tweet you on Twitter at
bear_Annika.
Fantastic. We love it when people tweet the show at Technophiles Pod or find us on iTunes, Facebook, and YouTube by searching Technophiles Podcast. You can always go to our actual website, technophilespodcast.com. You can find links to the show notes for this show, and of course our other shows that we do, the Technophiles Newscast, and our show about video games, Branching Dialogue. All right, guys, I'll see you on Tuesday. Until then, have a great weekend, and you can find me, David Geisler, on Twitter at Rapture Paints.